Years ago, there was a little girl going into the second grade. This little girl had two older brothers, a mom, a dad, and a pet dog. Every night she would change into her pajamas, brush her teeth, and meet her mom and two brothers on the couch to read stories. Even though the little girl was read aloud to a lot and she loved books, she had difficulty reading on her own. When she was in the first grade, the teacher taught her class how to read and how to sound out the letters to form words. This little girl was behind her friends in school, though. Reading was hard. So as the little girl went into the second grade, her teachers and parents set up to have a special reading teacher help her each day. Every morning at school, the reading teacher, Mrs. Fisk, came to get the little girl from class, and they went to the reading office. Mrs. Fisk's reading office was great. It was smaller than a classroom. It had a round table, some chairs, and a whiteboard to write on. The reading office also had a big bus in the corner that was filled with comfy pillows on the inside, and you could lie inside the bus and look at books. The little girl enjoyed her time with Mrs. Fisk. Mrs. Fisk was very nice, very patient, and helped the little girl learn how to read, one step at a time. Mrs. Fisk also loved Paddington Bear. Paddington Bear is a character in picture books. The author, Michael Bond, wrote the first book about Paddington Bear in the year 1958. Mrs. Fisk read many stories about Paddington Bear with the little girl during their time together in the reading office. They even had marmalade jam and hot tea sometimes, just like Paddington Bear liked best. Throughout the school year, the little girl got better and better at reading on her own. Towards the end of the school year, when the little girl was almost done being a second grader and would soon become a third grader, Mrs. Fisk helped her to make her very own book. The little girl made up the story about Paddington Bear and his friends playing baseball. Since the little girl made it up, and the characters were bears that could play baseball, it was a fiction story. Mrs. Fisk helped the little girl type the story on the computer, and the little girl even illustrated the book by drawing pictures. This was when the little girl was just that, a little girl. Today, she's not a little girl anymore. She is all grown up. She went to middle school, then to high school. She even went to university and studied how to be a teacher. After university, she went to even more school and studied how to be a librarian. She has always loved books and loved reading. She had to work a little harder than other kids her age when she was in first and second grade learning to read. Mrs. Fisk helped her to learn to read and also helped create wonderful memories of reading, writing, and marmalade. Today, this girl is a librarian in a school. She loves to read, she still loves books, and she really enjoys sharing these loves with the students in her school. And do you know what? She still has the book that she made with Mrs. Fisk, the one that she wrote about Paddington Bear and his friends playing baseball. You might know this girl. Her name is Miss Stacia, and she is your librarian.